of Hallmark Plus Mysteries.
I'm Brian. I like Hallmark Plus Mysteries.
I'm Dan, and I despise Hallmark Plus Mysteries, and this is the
Deck
Deck the Hallmark Podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Well. Hey there,
Oh,
hi
boy.
there, everybody. It's your boy Brian. It's Brian. It's Dan.
Yep.
Deck the Hallmark. Hallmark Plus is here.
Yeah, it is.
This
Hallmark
arrived.
Plus is here.
Nobody's more excited than me, Bram.
Right on time, too.
No one. I know.
No, I'm
You
just
were
been
wondering
pumped.
for how there could
I
possibly.
slept in the studio last night.
I know you were so excited.
I know, we were watching
What
it.
Sleeping bag.
time?
It's crazy.
We have audio of when the app actually changed to Hallmark Plus and your
That's right.
reaction. Let's
That's
go
right.
ahead and cue that clip.
That's right. Wonder when it's happening. You think it's happening right now? Oh my God, it's happening! F yeah!
Nice.
Oh, you brought an air horn.
I know. It was wild. I was very
really-
excited. I thought maybe there was going to be a bleep,
No.
but instead I just
Yeah.
I wasn't sure at the time when it
Yeah,
happened, and
right.
so I just said F yeah.
Smart. It's a safe.
Yeah.
It was a really exciting moment, and everybody's apps changed without any
hitches.
Yeah, just turn it on.
And the nice thing about Hallmark Plus is how different the app is.
it looks
itself.
like
Yes.
brand new. Fresh
It's
coat.
a
Fresh coat.
They did
remodel.
not slap a new logo on a bad app. They didn't do it. They redid
wouldn't
a whole
dare.
app.
They wouldn't dare.
They would never.
They'll get around
Lots
to
of new
that.
content.
Yeah.
What if we just got a crown and a plus and put it up there? Nobody would know.
And this is a good time to remind people that you can sign up for Bramble Jam Plus. If you want to listen to our show ad-free, anywhere you go, and plus get bonus stuff,
We launched that
BrambleJamPlus.com.
almost half a decade ago.
That's right.
Get on the ball.
You should have an
Hallmark.
anniversary.
We should. It's
Yeah.
pretty big day.
Rebranding.
So you can go ahead and do that if you want to. But lots of new content on the Hallmark Plus. It's going to be hard to get to it all. In fact, we're not going to get to it all. We're not going to do the unscripted Lacey show, but let us know how it is.
Yeah. Give us
Yeah.
a shout.
Give us a
We're
shout.
not going to recover it, but give us a shout.
I mean, if it's like amazing, like I don't know, if somebody's like, "Man, this is amazing," we'll get a lot of people that say this is amazing.
How many people would have to say, this is amazing?
Well,
Just like that, too.
amazing, or like, "Hey, this is like so bad, you guys should talk about it." I could go either way.
I will say this. What I'm fascinated by with Hallmark Plus is that now that we know they didn't change the app at all and they just slapped a new logo on it, how many more people are going to experience what we've been experiencing for years, which is the worst app interface on the planet? How many people are going to get to experience that? And will that lead to change? Like somehow I think Hallmark didn't know that their app was terrible.
Well, that's what I believe. Maybe that's what it was. They don't realize.
And so they're going to realize it now when people have to go to Hallmark Plus to see a Tyler Hines movie and they can't to see it early before it airs. A lot more people are going to run into this app. And if it's bad with the current number of users, can you imagine what it's like with more users? I
can't imagine.
I that's the thing I'm fascinated. Maybe it'll result in a better app.
Maybe.
Best we can hope for.
You know who does have a better app though? Philo. Philo.tv/DTH. You can watch
No
our
problems
show
there.
and so much stuff right on Philo. And if you're watching us right now, hello. And this is just for you.
Nicely done.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty
No
good.
one will tell either.
No, I thought it was
if you're listening audio, you'll never know.
It's pretty good. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
We've been wondering for a while, when are we getting another Jane mystery? I know Brian walks in
Brian,
every day.
every day is like,
it
He's like,
Jane
when's the
Day?
next Jane mystery? When's the next Jane mystery? Apparently, they've been hoarding them.
They've been hoarding a whole
bunch of them.
they've
That's
been
right.
keeping them in a basket somewhere, and here they all come. We're getting 3 this month.
Yeah, special delivery.
That's exactly
Special
right.
what?
Special delivery.
Delivery. Okay.
Special
Yeah.
delivery. We have the first one, which is what we're talking about today, the Jane mysteries. Are you guys ready to dive in?
Oh,
So
yeah.
ready.
Jane mysteries.
Wham, wham, wham.
Jane mystery is a deadly prescription. Originally dropped
Yeah, there we
on
go.
Hallmark Plus on September 10th, 2024, and it went a little something like this. It's 1 year ago. This dude walks into a pharmacy and shoots the pharmacist. That's it. Tough break for her, but I think that might be what our mystery is going to be.
Could be.
What?
I don't know. We'll see.
You didn't think they just started with a random pharmacist killing?
Listen, I didn't know what I walked in. This Hallmark Plus is different
Yeah, it's
here.
different. It's a
tone,
different
man.
thing.
Different.
Setting the tone.
Cut to present day. It's Jane. She's up there singing as she does. In case you forgot, she sings.
Don't make me sing.
And she comes off the stage, and Detective John is there. You'll remember Detective John from the first one. And he's like, "Boy, that was a tough act to follow, Jane. But maybe I'll go up there and I'll drum, and people will be like, "Wow!"
What a drummer.
and then I'll get off stage, and we will have drinks together. And she's like, "Okay, maybe we will." So he goes up there. He's playing the drums, but this woman walks in and waves at him, and he leaves the sets, even though the band is still halfway through the set. Just abandons his brothers, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Abandoned Brothers.
It's messed up. Can you imagine,
Can't
Brian?
leave
You're
this
playing a
opposite
gig.
of Band of
You're
Brothers.
playing a gig, and you just get off stage.
Just walk right off.
Yeah. See you suckers.
No more. Not
I
brother.
got
No
things
longer.
to do.
No info needed. I gotta go.
He used to give it a hand signal.
Yeah.
Like this,
Like,
like-
hey.
Was that an anarchy symbol?
It's like, hey, I got doctors.
Yeah, we got,
I got doctor's
things to do.
orders. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, it's a woman, and he leaves with
Yes.
her.
What are you doing here?
Sushi.
Hey, Frank, sushi.
He leaves. He does not get that drink
Sushi
with Jane.
Anarchy? I don't know. I don't know if I love
Back
it.
at Jane's office,
can eat.
Jane still has all
You can
those
fight somebody for it.
boxes. Jane still has all those boxes of unsolved mysteries, if you remember that.
That's right.
John comes in. It's John's house, and John brings this woman with him. Her name is Sandra, and John explains that that her.
You know what
He's
he
got
explained. You got
The
it.
word Santa is in this, and it's thrown
Oh,
before I leave. That Sandra, not Santa, was her uncle's last
His
client.
phone's like, you definitely mean
You
Santa.
mean Santa. We've been here before.
My phone is smart enough to know Sandra definitely means Santa. And but Sandra was her uncle's last client, and he was investigating her son, who's behind bars currently for a crime that he claims that he did not commit. She says that she found a note that says, "I know your son is innocent. I'm sorry." And that's why she's here today. Jane invites her to share the rest of the story. And here's the rest of the story. You ready for it? Here it comes. Her son was 16 when he was convicted for murder and armed robbery, and he's behind bars for 15 years. Her son, Ryan, did rob the pharmacy, but his mom says that he insisted he did not kill anybody. He did not fire that weapon, but he did confess to it to the police. Because, sometimes that happens. And he says he was pressured into a false confession. Jane says if that's the case, then I want to dive into this, because clearly this was good enough for my uncle to take it on, and so it's going to be good enough for me to take it on. And so Jane and John go to talk to Ryan themselves, and Ryan insists that he doesn't remember any gun going off. In his memory, he does pull the gun out, but then gets attacked from behind, drops the gun, and runs out. And he says that the cops, though, convinced him that he did fire the gun, and after a long time, he finally just said, "Okay, I did it," because I didn't know it was real anymore. It's still real to me. They go back and pour over the case file, and there are 3 people that were there during the crime. 1, Jason. He's the husband of the pharmacist who died. Kyle, who's another pharmacist that works there, and Joe, who was stocking shelves and stuff. As she's looking through the file of suspects, a note falls out that says he's lying. But who is that talking about? Don't know. She decides that she needs to go talk to all the suspects. So she goes to talk to Kyle. Kyle is not interested in talking, but he now runs the place. And you might be wondering, why is the husband not running the place? Apparently it was all tough goings for him afterwards, and he didn't want to do it anymore, but he still consults. Because she also talks to him right after an air conditioning unit almost falls on her. And that just kind of happens. So her aunt comes up with some good info. The bullet, looking at those ballistics, you know what I mean? Apparently the bullet went through the body at a downward motion, which leads them to believe that the shooter must have been taller than the victim, because the gun would have been pointing down. But at the time, Ryan was shorter than the victim. Police never investigated this, never brought it up in court. So this is something. Jane gets some bad news. Joe, the 3rd suspect, is dead. He had a seizure just a few days after the shooting. He stopped taking his medicine after the shooting. He was apparently owing the pharmacy a lot of money, but also owing some other people, bad people, some money as well. And it was just like, whatever. Who cares anymore? I don't want it. Cut to Sandra. She's at a stop sign, and she just gets rear-ended by somebody. Could it have been Santa? I don't know. Who did that? We're all wondering. Apparently, there was someone else in the pharmacy that day who dropped her magazine. Her name is Jennifer. So Jane goes to try to talk to Jennifer, but Jennifer's dead. Except it's not her, it's her roommate. Her roommate's dead. We don't really care about her, but she is dead. Jennifer's on the run. Jane assumes that she must have gone to her emergency contact on the lease agreement, her aunt that lives out of state but still close enough to drive. We all know the one. And so she goes to pay her a visit. John not too far behind, which is a good thing because some shady doings begins to happen. They catch wind that she's going to be working at a casino that night. And so they go there. Jane sings.
Don't make her sing.
Yeah, what can you do? They spot Jason, though, the husband, there, and he's trying to drug Jennifer's drink. Jane stops her from drinking it, pulls her aside, and she tells Jane everything. She was running an insurance scam with her roommate, and Jason knew about it and didn't want to stop the insurance scam because the pharmacy was making money too. So she was there that day and saw Jason shoot his wife and then told Jennifer that if she doesn't stay quiet about this and say that it was the boy that shot her, he's going to expose her for insurance fraud. And she doesn't want that, so I guess she just went along with the old ruse there. So they rush to save Jane's aunt because it occurs to Jane that her aunt is going to meet up with Jason for a date tonight. He does show up, and he immediately pulls a gun on her. They don't dance for very long. And he explains that he killed his wife because her dad turned her against him, and when her dad died, he got nothing. Zero. Nilch. Is that a word?
No, nil or zilch.
Zilch.
Nilch is not a word.
Not yet. Join the fight. So listen, Webster's adding words every year.
Webster's he's wily.
He's
Webster.
wild. He sure is. So he's mad about that, and when the opportunity came up to pick up the gun on the ground and shoot his wife and blame a kid, he did it. He asked her to go get him a glass of water. Jane's aunt, hey, can you go get me a glass of water? Selling my story makes me thirsty. And he puts down the gun, and when she turns around, she sees the gun and runs over, and they begin to tussle with gun, but she shoots his leg. And at this point, Jane and John walk in and they're like, wow, you did it. Wow. They arrest him and Ryan is released. That's wonderful. And John and Jane celebrate by going and getting a drink and, you guessed it, playing a song together. And that, my friends, was
The Jane Mysteries.
Deadly Prescription.
What are you guys doing?
I was trying to stumble my way back up to the top so I can read
Yeah,
it because I couldn't remember.
nilch is what you got.
he did
Nilch. Nilch, everybody. Hashtag Nilch.
right.
Between the
I just
buoys,
think if
got
we
it.
all start saying it, they can't tell us we're all wrong.
This is everything.
Yeah, that's my...
This brand's whole this whole thing.
Because words are all made up. We'll be
Yeah.
right back, Deck the Hallmark.
Deck the Hallmark.
Nilch.
edition.
Welcome back to Nilch and the Boys. It's your boy, Nilch.
Start
And I'm
calling
here.
yourself Nilch.
No.
They can't
I'm here.
stop you then.
No,
I'm here with my
If you want
boys.
to call yourself Nilch,
Yeah,
yeah.
Nilch and
Yeah,
the Boys.
yeah, Nilch. Yeah, it's your name.
Yeah.
Nilch. I'm
Nilch.
not one of Nilch's boys, though. I can tell you that
What?
right now. No.
It's time to talk about the latest, the newest, the second Jane mystery movie, A Deadly Prescription. It's been a while. Did the distance make us fonder? Let's find out. We're going to share our hot takes. I'm going to start with the hottest
Distance makes the heart grow fonder.
taker
Common saying.
that we know. It's
According
Brian.
to Nilch.
That's exactly right.
what Nilch
Is that
said
not a
anyway.
saying? Distance make-
Absence makes the heart grow
All
fonder.
right. Okay. This is semantics, though.
Yeah.
Brian, what'd you think?
I love seeing Jodie Sweetin. And I'm
Here we
glad
go.
we're going to see a lot of...
Here we go.
I do have a bit of a sweet tooth, you might say.
Oh, okay. That
I
sounded
actually didn't like it, though,
inappropriate.
the more that I think about I appreciated it at first, and then I thought more about it, and I didn't like it.
That's typical Nilch.
Ah,
over here,
Typical
man.
Nilch
Class-
behavior.
This one, though, I feel like distance or absence made my heart not grow fonder. I think it would have worked a little better for me closer together. It's been a while. I forgot a lot. I had to revisit my notes from our last viewing of the last movie.
We all revisited our notes.
Yeah,
you
you go
revisited
back
your notes,
and
Brand.
look
I
at-
did.
Yeah, of course, we all
absolutely.
did.
Keep those handy. I don't know. This one kind of like perplexed me, and not in the way that I think it was hoping to. Like this was the craziest murder that I can remember. Like when they showed what happened, I was just like, that's insane. Like, I don't understand why he did this. I still am not totally clear on the motive. Weak motive. Like, weak as nilch motive.
Weak as nilch. Nilch
Like,
motive, you could even
You
say.
could say almost nilch motive. Because he was getting pushed around his whole life by his father-in-law. Like, just leave. Like, go do something else.
Yeah.
So dumb. He did it in broad daylight in front of a definite witness and two other possible witnesses, maybe another
it seems
outside.
like a crime of passion.
Yeah, but he wasn't like.
But it wasn't.
No,
It was
not
planned.
at all. Yes.
I'm going to wait for
Oh.
somebody to come in here and rob the place.
Yeah, total opportunity. I guess I'll just bang. Also, the worst way for a pharmacist to kill his wife.
Yeah.
Like, he could have done this a lot of
A
other
lot
ways.
of drugs in play there.
Yes, the guy knows all the concoctions.
Sheesh.
Could have done a way better job than just be like, I guess I'll just pull this trigger since this kid didn't. So I was just kind of like, I don't know. I wasn't that into it. And it kind of left me like wishing that I know we got a few more of these. A couple more, two more this month?
One more.
One more? I thought we had two
It's
more.
two more.
Okay,
There's
it is
3
two
this
more.
month.
So I feel like it's all uphill from here. Really looking forward to the next
Downhill,
couple.
depending on how you look at it.
Well, yeah. So yeah, it was just kind of nilch for me.
Nilch disagrees with everything you said. It really worked for me. I thought that it was quite good. And I thought that the motive worked. I
Holy
think if a pharmacist poisons their spouse, they're going to be like, oh, the spouse did it. It's pharmacy. Gun, you wouldn't think so. You wouldn't think that a husband would shoot his pharmacist's wife at their place of work with a gun. To your point, because it's dumb, but I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it altogether. I didn't see it coming. I didn't expect it. He was such a nice guy. And so I didn't see it coming, but I really
doesn't
liked
make
it.
sense.
I like Jane. I like John. I thought that chemistry is great. And I just thought for the first time in a while with a mystery, I was fully bought in. I couldn't wait to see what happened next. The mystery worked for me, and I really liked it. Call me Crazy Town. Call me
I'm happy
Nilch.
for you, man.
Call me Crazy
We'll
Town
definitely
Nilch.
call you Nilch. Crazy as Nilch over here.
But I thought that it worked. It kept me really engaged, and I was really excited to see what happened.
That's good to hear. It's been a
Dana?
while for you.
Thanks, Crazy Town. I would say
CT
no
Nilch.
to all of that. Here's what I would say is early on, this movie does some things right. The murder being a year ago, establishing a very clear set of suspects where it's not just anyone, it's one of these 3 people. Even the bit where they have each suspect actually shoot her and they do this thing where it's like, could it have been this person? Could it have been this person? I thought that was really like unique and different. The problem, there's 2 major problems for me. One, the last 30 minutes of this movie are incomprehensible across the board. Some of these are wait whats, but why this guy murdered was stupid. The motive was bad. I agree with you,
No,
Brian.
it's not. If you watch,
The motive
this
was bad.
happens all the time. People murder their loved ones because they feel slighted.
Okay.
It's
okay.
not. I'm not saying they should, but it happens.
But hear me out on this. I think maybe the wording is what's tripping you up, and motive may not be the right word. The motive combined with how it happened is incomprehensible.
Yeah.
This guy shoots his wife, who he's clearly wanted to murder for years, in broad daylight with a witness during a robbery. Yeah. No, there's just no world that a crime like that would take place like that. Now, I also will say that it was a shock that he did it because you thought there's no way he would do it like that. The reason you eliminate him as a suspect is if this guy wants to kill his wife because he's mad, because he's in the back seat and his father-in-law poisoned him against her, great, he's going to find out a better way to do it than what he did. The problem is that when you find out it's him, he then continues to be a bumbling idiot. The way that he holds up Jane's aunt and is like, Go get me a glass of water. The dumbest thing, let me put down this gun while you go get a glass object. You don't, this is stupid. It was colossally stupid. Early on, I was invested. The end of this movie completely lost me. It's a really bad 30 minutes. At the end of this movie, it was a really bad 30 minutes. Also,
Can I do it really quickly?
Go ahead.
I just think to your point. So I don't think it was premeditated. Obviously,
Crime of passion against your wife of years.
He was something must have happened. He was mad. He sees this happen. The gun drops, and he realizes in that moment he doesn't shoot her right away. He thinks about it for a few seconds, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, this is so easy to blame this guy. I'm gonna shoot her, and then I'm gonna deal with it. And clearly, he's not smart enough to get away with it. Clearly.
Okay. So if we agree to disagree on that, which we clearly do, what do you have to say about how he holds up Jane Zane at the end? That's stupid, right?
He's dumb.
Okay.
So he is dumb.
Your whole thing
He's not a good murderer.
I freaking love this movie. The murderer's dumb.
The murderer's dumb.
Okay, great. Well, if the murderer's
Everybody
dumb,
knows if you want to kill your loved one, you plan.
Hear me
He
out.
didn't plan.
I know
Everybody
this
knows
is a
that.
movie review show, so this may come as a surprise. If the murderer's dumb, I'm not going to like it as much.
Okay, fair.
That's a hot take
fair.
for me. If the murderer's dumb, maybe the movie isn't as good, but maybe that's just me over here, not Zilch or Nilch or whatever his name was. Okay,
Crazy Town Nilch?
It's Nilch, and you know it.
Yeah, that's right.
You
Next.
continue to undermine me by acting like you don't know my name.
Next,
It's Nilch.
and
It
this
always has been.
I'll continue this in the field segment because it's not nearly as fun or funny, but we have an instance here where an officer forced a confession and did so by holding a minor in a holding cell in interrogation for hours on end. This is something that happens in real life. It isn't fun or funny, and this police officer, much like real life, gets literally no consequence for this whatsoever. And I thought the movie set it up at the beginning where they're adversarial. And so I'm in my head, I'm going, for once, it's going to be cool to watch Hallmark, where a policeman gets his comeuppance for doing something that is against the law and should be against the law and is a crime.
Maybe they're setting it up.
But instead, it's just like, I don't like you, and then I knew I didn't like you. And that's it. And I hated that very much. I'll talk more about it in the fields, but I hated that.
But it could be a setup because there was at the end.
Okay.
If I'm a cop in this whole movie, I have been defending my brothers. My brothers in the badge, and then I found out, you know what, my brother in the badge done goofed this up.
You got it.
And I go in there, and not only like I am like, hey, I think you messed up, and this guy looks at me, and he's mad at me. Now there's something to look at.
Great.
If it comes in, what if it comes into the next movie and that's a part of it?
Okay.
Because I think they're setting something up.
All that's great, Brand, but what he did, he's not going to get a comeuppance for what he did. What's going to happen is they're going to find out he's a dirty cop, a bad apple. What they're going to find is he did something that they actually are going to arrest him for. My thing is what he did in this movie, if we can transition to the fields here, and I can go first, this is something that has caused the death and incarceration of children across the country. It's a big problem with why certain people have a problem with the police. It is not a small thing. What this guy did and the excuses that he uses in this movie are very much, hey, the guy said he did it as long as it takes, right? As long as it takes to get confession, that's how long it takes. That is not something that you go, maybe he's dirty, he'll do something worse in the next movie. What he did is something that should put him in jail. It's not a building block. That's not, Stephen Hazard can't back the blue and then go, maybe my boy's dirty, even though I know he's not dirty. And even though he did this, that's a little bit gray, not a gray area.
I don't think
it's
he's
not a gray area for me.
I agree. I think the problem is this movie apparently takes place in reality and no one ever gets in trouble for
So that was my,
if it's a building block to, hey, this guy's shady and I'm going to try to figure out a way to get him out of this.
So I think my problem is that if we're going to say the movie takes place in reality, which this is the one time I was hoping it took place in Hallmark world and they were going to actually do the right thing. If it takes place in reality, then this guy back in the blue is going to keep back in the blue. It's what he's going to do. If he says, I've known these guys, I went to the academy with these guys, he's going to explain that there's not enough here.
No, the whole conversation at the end of this movie with that guy is clearly
They're
setting
clearly
up.
adversarial, but this guy does nothing to advocate. He doesn't go and bang the drum. He doesn't go get an interview.
He had a gig.
Yeah, he had a gig.
Yeah,
he
I think
bangs
that's
that
part
drum.
of it.
True, man.
But
he does bang that drum.
gotta get
This,
to the
what
stage.
happens here, Like literally, this kid spent a year in jail, in adult jail. The only thing worse than that is if this cop actually murdered a kid. That's the only thing worse. They do not. He doesn't sound the alarm. He doesn't speak out. He just puts it in his pocket for later. That's terrible.
It's a lot.
That's
listen,
really
it's
terrible.
a lot to take in.
It's
a lot
bad.
it is. I agree.
Yeah.
We
It's
agree.
bad.
We agree.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to set it up.
Yeah,
I think they're setting it
that
up.
makes me angry. That
I
makes me
understand.
almost as angry as the
But you
doofus
have-
who's
you-
killing her and being like, "Well, go get me a glass of water."
This guy all movie has been. There's no way. There's no way.
right.
There's no way. When you find out that, oh my gosh, there might be a way.
That's right.
Some people take time and process and go, oh my gosh, what's going on?
Yeah.
I got to figure something out.
Yeah, I think that we're past that stage. I think that figuring it out is maybe he wasn't above board, and then he
definitely
realizes
wasn't above board.
So yes, exactly. When you realize he definitely was above board, that is not when you start figuring it out. That's when you figured it out. You don't. If you care, there are great police officers out there.
Sure.
And if you care about being a great police officer, then you don't hesitate. That's not you. You sound the alarm when someone that also wears the badge you wear does something like this and uses their power and usurps authority over a child to force a confession. That's not something to go, let me put this in my back pocket. Maybe you'll do it a few more times. I don't know. But as long as I get him later, that's all that matters.
I agree in a perfect world.
Yeah.
Not a perfect world.
Well-
and that's something that he's going to like.
Steven
I think
Hazard,
it clearly
so
bummed
what
him
you're
out.
saying is our hero, our male hero, is just more like a cop than we would like to admit.
He's more like a real person.
And Brain loved it.
Yes, I did love it. I loved it. I loved it.
Got it.
Let's get to all the feels where we talk about what this
That
movie
was
gave
my
us
feels. You're
feels.
good.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your feel?
How angry I was about
okay,
that.
great,
That
great,
was
great,
my
great.
feels. Angry
Angry
feels.
feels.
Yeah.
To piggyback on that, Dan, I thought the costume design was just off the charts.
That's a perfect
Yes.
piggyback.
Yeah, it's a great
Really
way to
great.
get. It's just very similar.
Hazard looked great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Jodie Sweetin, or what's Sadie, the aunt dressed like they just all look real sharp.
Yeah.
Real
Yeah.
cool costumes in this
I
movie.
was gonna say that one if it wasn't for the force.
Thanks for
confession.
leaving it on
And,
the table.
and
That's
yeah,
right.
he
I'm here
wrote
to
it
help.
down,
Yeah.
and then I was with him. He goes so
Put a
mad at
pin
the
in
end of the
that.
movie.
Yeah,
He scribbled it
I
out.
did. I did.
He said, I
It's
can't
like,
even
I'll
bring
let
it up.
Brian talk about the costumes again.
Thank you.
I can't even bring it
Bizarre
up.
in a suit though. Dude looks good.
It looks, yeah.
No
Listen,
way around it.
that's mine too. Well, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll get to the Wait What's and the What the Hallmark here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking Jane Mystery, The Deuce.
The Deuce.
The Deuce.
Also, deadly prescription. He shot her in the chest. There was no prescription deadly there at all.
I think what it is
Hit me up,
Right.
Milch.
is
Hit me one
thank you.
time.
Thanks for calling my name. The boy had the prescription.
He
If the
did.
And
boy
that
didn't
was
have
deadly.
the
It
turned
prescription, then
deadly.
no one would have died.
Got it.
Yeah,
So it
that's
really was
true.
his fault.
No.
He
it's-
served his time, so he's
He's good to go.
well.
Yeah.
He did have a weapon
Yeah.
unlawfully. So, but
Oh,
I
he
feel
did?
like that's all settled at this
That's all
point.
settled.
Like,
Yeah,
he should
it's
be
exactly
time
right.
served.
good to go.
Yes.
It's time for Wait What Is, where we talk about what in this movie made us go, wait, what? Brian?
Yeah, that construction worker could not be less concerned about that air conditioning unit falling out the window and onto the sidewalk.
Nah.
What do you
Nah.
guys think about that?
It's just like, what?
I
Oh.
don't. He just strolled on out. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that because it was so random. And
But also now knowing what we know about who done it,
Yeah.
the fact he
Yes.
walks right out too.
The,
yeah,
the,
Yeah.
I
What, did
think
he
the
try to
thing
kill that
is
girl?
that there is a good movie that could be made out of this plot.
Yeah, and
But
I'm just choosing to see it.
Instead, we get a bunch of strings that don't really tie up to anything.
Yeah.
Why is he pushing an air conditioning unit out of the front door? That's more like
No. It falls out the
front
window.
window, not
Yeah,
door,
yeah.
front window. Yeah. At the front
It's an
window of the second
install
floor.
gone wrong.
Way
if I've ever
wrong.
seen one.
Yeah.
my brother did that once.
Yeah,
On
and
the
I think
second
what you're
story,
saying
yeah.
is he's just very opportunistic.
Yeah, I guess
Yes.
so. Yeah,
Very opportunistic. He's like this
I don't
window
know if he
unit.
did it for sure because that construction
You think
worker
it could have just been an install sitch?
I think it could.
He
the
was in there and then he
construct-
walked out.
Typical
construction
union job,
worker-
you know, typical union job.
No, what I'm saying, I don't know if it was the construction worker that walks out to retrieve it.
I think it was.
Or
Or
you
if-
think that was
or
a
if-
happenstance?
I don't know. That's
You
what I'm
don't think
saying.
it was
so that's a
attempted
good one. The
murder?
Hallmark actually.
Yes.
Was, yeah.
They don't. They
They
never
threw it in there
address
as a
it.
red herring.
Yes. Again, there's been so long since I've liked one of these.
air
and
Because
I
without
sure-
that, there were nilch red herrings.
The AC
Yeah.
unit red herring.
Yeah,
Uh,
we've all
We'll,
seen it.
we'll try to kill her with an AC unit. Who's doing it? Accident. It was a
Yeah.
bad install
Total
of a
accident.
window unit.
It's just so crazy that a construction worker happened to be there.
Yeah.
So wild.
very moment.
And then if it wasn't him that was installing it, why would he go down to retrieve it?
It doesn't matter. It
If
doesn't
he
make
turns
a bit of
around and goes,
sense.
"What was that sound?"
Dodged a bullet there, didn't we? Could have killed somebody.
It sort of like goes in line with another set of wait whats that I collectively put together as under like the umbrella of this is a lot like the Scary Movie thing. Like, you know, in Scary Movie, you're like, oh, there's a guy with a weapon. Let's go hide in this shed.
Yes.
Like clearly not
Classic.
escaping.
You don't
They
hide
kept
in a
doing that stuff like somebody peeling out in a very suspicious blue van with duct tape all over the front.
That's right. Yeah,
We'll get
yeah.
around to the APB. No need to do
No.
anything with that right now.
No.
Don't worry about
it. Couldn't be a problem.
This girl who definitely, this is a crime scene. There was an attack. Something went wrong. Looks like suicide. Let's move on. Like,
Yeah.
they just kept skipping over things that are like, should we just sit on this for a second? Maybe explore this for a second? So that happened a few times. And I was just like, what? We're just rushing past these things. Sadie, I'm pretty sure she was shooting that gun in a public park. Just set
Yeah.
up shop right next to the family having a picnic. Just let me put my fake body here.
Yeah.
Take 6 steps back. Bang, 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 bang.
Can you imagine being in the park for a picnic and you see this woman dragging a dummy out there?
Yeah.
And then she's like, "What's up? Well, let's wait and see what happens."
It's science. I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure it out.
Is that a gun? She has a gun? She's gonna do that
Yeah.
here? She
Not
did it
here. No, she wouldn't. That's
Even
not
in
real.
her backyard, people would be like,
Yeah.
Did you just hear 6 gunshots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear a
that's
half
just
dozen?
Sadie.
Half dozen
That's
quick
Sadie.
pop
Is it
pops
Saturday
there?
afternoon? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's Sadie.
Sadie's out
Sadie.
shooting
She's just
dummies.
shooting.
Yeah.
And when pharmacist Jason went into, I don't know, kidnap, murder, whatever he was going to do to Sadie, he left his van running. What are you doing with the van? You leave that thing. That's an old van. Like, that's
Yeah.
a lot of exhaust. You're wasting a lot of gas. You're
That's
going
right.
to need that
You're
gas.
worried about the climate.
on
You're worried
your-
about the planet.
climate,
Yeah.
his getaway. Like, he's just going to. And then just
Time you
as-
get to Whataburger, damage is done.
Man,
You know what I mean?
you're not leaving. It's a good place to be, I guess, if you're going to end up somewhere.
Yeah.
As far as like couple musician combos go, a singer drummer combo is a tough one.
It's a tough one.
You
Think
can't.
so?
I think you can't just show up in any club and know there's going to be a drum set and a microphone. Like probably a keyboard, a guitar. A drum set's not always going to be handy.
It is at
What
B
if,
minor. though.
B minor.
the fact that we've gotten this far and you've not talked about Stephen Hazar playing the drums and you're a drummer is
Oh yeah,
wild
I don't.
to
I
me.
just. I can't watch that. That
It's
stuff means-
adorable.
It is
it's-
hysterical.
He's just.
At some point, you don't see the sticks for like 10
Yeah.
seconds
What's
straight.
tough
It's-
is like
it's
I
so
believe
fun.
I saw enough to believe that he could do like a 4 on the floor if he needs to. He's not a jazz drummer.
Oh
Like,
man,
yeah.
forget it. It's like the Boston accent in who's that? McGarrett?
Well,
Is
yeah,
that
Wedding-
Oh, it's,
yeah,
I
Wedding
just
Bell.
look at it. I'm just like, that is so fun.
Yes.
That
It's
is
fun.
so
It's
fun.
cute. It's adorable.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
it for me.
We talked about B minor, the bar,
club,
which I've never seen a bar that does what they do with their name, which is they put their name B minor on all the posters and the promotional things, but above the establishment, they just have open. And that's it. It like lit up. They have one of those signs
Open,
where it's
yeah.
like all the little individual light bulbs.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just big and it says open, but B minor's nowhere to be found on the actual building. But it's open. I would think that place is called
Gotta have
open.
a secret.
I would think. Are you going to
handshake.
opens?
Yeah.
Are you going to
going
opens later?
Going to B
Because
minor,
that's
I don't
what
know
it
about
seems
B
like.
minor.
I'm going to. Oh,
You got to know it. You gotta
B
know.
minor's inside of
Me
opens.
and
You gotta
Nilch
know
there
something.
later.
Inside of it. The jazz band apparently finished the set without the drummer. When he left, she talks about how they had a tough time afterwards without the drummer.
Yeah.
What pros? What pros are these guys? Their drummer walks
they
off
don't-
stage.
they don't
They
need a beat.
still got to
I'll
finish
just
their
tap my
set.
foot. It's
They're
good.
like, we've
Don't
got
worry about
enough.
it.
They got
We've
it in
got
their
it.
ear.
We're
They're
good.
fine.
We're good. The small neighborhood pharmacy has so many employees.
Oh, it's massive.
So many people are working there.
They
I'd
are
love for
an
so many people to
economic
work
staple.
at the pharmacies we go to. They were set. They were good to go.
Shout out to Publix at McBee. The
Yeah.
pharmacy department there is fantastic.
Yeah.
They're always covering us. But if you go to a local pharmacist,
Yeah.
it is not as big as a superstore, and they don't have that many pharmacists around. I mean, the Publix has 2 pharmacists total.
Yeah.
There are at least 5 white coats.
Yeah.
in this
crazy.
place.
It's
It's
so
crazy.
many. This pharmacy does not have security cameras. They
No.
got them after the murder. And I would just say, like, and I'm not here to accuse anybody of anything, but if your local pharmacy doesn't have security cameras, go somewhere else.
PSA.
Because I
Good
don't know.
PSA.
I don't know what's going on, but there should be security cameras just with all of the drugs. I don't know if you've heard about the drug
All the
problem.
drugs,
Yeah.
Let's
robberies.
just make sure things are like on camera and
Yeah.
recorded and whatnot. Make sure it's all going in the right place. And one of my what's is Jason is so dumb.
Yes.
he is the dumbest.
The dumbest criminal
he is
of all
the dumbest.
time.
He murders on a whim. He wipes off the gun
Murders
with
his
his
wife
coat.
on a whim.
Wipes off the prints with his coat, which I guess is good enough. I don't know. Leaves a witness alive, which is crazy. Leaves multiple witnesses alive, but
Yeah.
Especially one that was looking
just
dead,
staring.
Just
staring right
daggers
at him.
Yeah.
Got blood all
It's
over her.
crazy. Goes
Splattered her.
rear ends a woman. We never get any clarity on that, but does rear end a woman. Goes to a casino night, no mask, no nothing, to poison somebody.
Yeah.
And then
Sees
after
someone make eye contact with him and
Yeah.
goes,
Oh,
and
no.
Where
takes
they're-
off
he's
running,
not
you know,
used to
like
all
a
the
criminal.
cameras. He's not
he's
used
not
to all
used to
those
all the cameras. That's exactly right. Goes to Sadie's house
Yeah.
and
Leaves his car running.
says, admits to everything, and then asks for water, puts the gun
Down
down.
on the table.
It is crazy. This
Yeah.
guy's the dumbest guy in the world. I loved it. Dano?
He is so stupid.
He's the
That was
dumbest criminal.
The big one of this movie is the criminal. He is
The
not a
fact-
smooth
Not a
criminal.
smooth-
He is the opposite. He
Like a nilch
You've been
criminal.
hit by a dumb criminal. Is
Yeah.
what you've been. That's what happened there. I did laugh very hard. I started this. We were watching this movie. Brandon and I watched the beginning of this movie separate because we had a meeting. We watched the last half of it together. But I'm in my house and I was, for some reason, crying, laughing at the reveal of Sandra at the office with Jane. Like Jane is in the office working after hours. She sees this woman come in and wave at Stephen Hazar, and she's like, "There goes that." So she goes to her office to work. She's there by herself at night. Stephen Hazar knocks on the door. He's with Sandra. Does he bring Sandra in?
No, not right away.
No.
Let's clear
Does he
some stuff
say,
up.
"I've got somebody here"? No. What he tells Sandra is, if you could hide, I know it's late at night. If you could hide back there, and then when I tell you, I want to,
They definitely had to talk it out, right?
when you hear the word, I want to introduce you to someone, stride into the scene.
He's a performer.
What
He's
in
a
the
drummer.
world is happening?
Sandra, I done goofed earlier tonight. I told this girl I was going to get a drink with her. I didn't. I left with you. I think there might be some confusion.
Clear this
if
up
you
real
could do
quick.
me a favor, pump the brakes.
We're
let
gonna
me
get
go.
the spotlights ready.
Let me go have a personal conversation first, and then I'll wave
Earmuffs.
you in. I'll
I
wave you in when you
rewound
come
it to make sure it wasn't. He told Sandra to meet her and she was late. No. Very clearly, he's like, come on in. If you could send in what is going on there? Why in the world would you show up at someone's place of business or house after hours, come in, and then go, well, actually, right after the break, we're going to get to the surprise. I couldn't believe it. I did laugh hysterically at this introduction when it would never happen that way ever. Jane goes to the pharmacy and wants to interview people. And she does this bit where she's like a part of the Business Improvement Association. And she's trying to get them to take a survey and ask questions while someone is behind them in line.
Yeah, that's you love those situations.
I was twitching. Can you imagine? Can you imagine needing to do a thing, pick up something, be somewhere, and someone is in line not for a transaction, not for a question about drugs, but specifically to do none of those things? I wouldn't have made
The
it.
problem, they had a potential for
Be
a
another
really,
gunshot.
Yeah, it would have been.
a really funny scene. They did like the tension between him and her, but if the people behind her just kept like trying to get in front of
up,
her,
yeah.
moving
Yeah,
up, and then
yeah.
she got that would have been really
Would've
funny.
been
but
funny.
We didn't do it. We didn't
But
do it.
like just tone deaf there, and it's especially there's one person in line. Jane, just wait for her to go, and then go afterwards. Like it's not hard. The Stephen Hazar and the cop that should be in jail, they talk about golf like neither one of them has ever heard or seen a golf ball club before
Oh,
ever.
man.
It's one of the more brutal scenes. Acted, written,
Absolutely.
everything. At one point he goes, well, I haven't been out there in a while because I would have to wear my motorcycle helmet the way you swing your clubs.
good
What does
one.
that even mean? Do you know how golf works? It was one of the worst scenes I've
I
ever
know how
seen.
golf works.
And you do.
You
throw the frisbee.
You close your eyes.
Yeah.
You make a wish. And you hit it as hard,
As
as
you
you
can.
can. That's
You
my
get it.
understanding.
That makes more
Right.
sense than the scene they have in this movie.
You forgot the helmet.
Yeah.
And you wear your
You forget that you
motorcycle
motorcycle, of course.
How about
The-
that line before he leaves? When he's in the doorway.
Yeah, something about 8 a.m. sharp, and then what does he say?
What is
see,
it?
you wouldn't want to be.
Wouldn't
ya.
want to be. Ya. I was embarrassed.
I was,
for
yeah,
him.
I had
Oh.
full cringe tingles.
Oh,
it was
boy.
bad. It was really,
Wouldn't
really
wanna
bad.
be ya.
Lastly, you said the costume design was great. It is. Aside from the picture of Stephen Hazar in his police uniform, where they decided could we get Stephen to wear a police officer's hat, take a picture, and make his face look younger? Yes. Or we could find a young picture of Stephen Hazar and just use Canva and move a police officer's hat on top of his head, which is what they decided to do. Real tough out there. That's all I got.
It's time for the Hallmarkers where we wonder what could have been. Maybe
Chicken
have to
fry.
clear any
Yeah.
questions. No, that's on
Chicken
Friday. Don't give it away.
or fri-
That's on
oh.
Friday.
It's a new segment I'm working on.
Friday.
Little
Friday.
bit of chicken fry.
Let's get to what the Hallmark.
All right.
It's where we talk about the things that we still would like some answers to.
Yep.
Brian?
Chicken. Oh, we're not doing chicken.
Yeah,
fried.
your
No,
chicken.
that's
That
Friday.
would have been the correct answer,
Man.
though.
Guys, it's Friday.
Stephen
It's gonna come
Hazar,
out on
chicken
Friday.
to do the right
Got
thing with
it.
his buddy there.
How did she break a rib during? Did she talk about this? How she broke a
No,
rib during?
It was. I thought it was a saying. She was doing. like,
No,
I
you
thought
missed
she-
the beginning of it. So she says break a rib. They're like, what? And she said, I broke a rib. During my best performance ever, I broke a rib.
So now she says.
So now she says
all
that
the
instead of
time,
break
like,
a
let's
leg and
break a-
expects
break a rib.
everyone else to know what that means.
I'd love to just hear what happened with that performance.
Yeah. So Sandra,
Santa?
Santa was struck by a vehicle. Was a part of a hit and
vehicle?
one. Was a part of a hit and hit and run, where she's ends up in the hospital.
pocket today.
Oh, man.
Now, the only explanation of this is that it is Jason. Jason had done it. Jason hit this woman with his car,
Yeah.
and he's fine.
Yeah.
Like
He's
this
got all
guy,
that duct
he,
tape
he
on the
hit
car.
he hit her hard.
Yeah,
car
real
not
hard.
so good.
Yeah.
He hit her hard.
Yeah.
And so I guess from that point on, no one asked what's up with Jason's van, and like also like Jason, like is your van like you look great?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the deal with the duct tape, buddy?
How did he get off like scotch free on his face? You'd think he would have some sort of
Something.
mark or something, but no, it all the front of the, and that's why you got to get Toyota or something.
Yeah.
Front of the van took all of it, and he's totally fine. I don't know. It just kind of was like, yeah, I guess he's okay. I guess he's fine. It didn't bother him.
Yeah.
He does it all the
He's
time.
Good. He hits people.
So he knows how to hit people without
Yeah.
it hurting him.
Yeah.
So he
Derby
knows.
out
he hits,
there.
he runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Demolition Derby, dude. Those are awesome. Those are crazy.
Pretty wild.
Dana?
Mine was the window unit, the AC
Yeah.
unit. Like how brazen is this guy? He's like, you know what? Worked out for me the first time. Shot my wife in cold blood. Opportunistic. What if I get up here and I tip this unit out and try to hit Jane? Maybe she'll stop. Maybe that'll stop.
Yeah,
maybe
they'll
that'll
stop everything,
things.
yeah.
But now that we've introduced the fact that it could have not been him at all, it could have been the construction worker doing a bad job. Now I'm just fascinated how we got here.
Yeah.
Is it an attempted murder? Is it an accident? Why is it in the movie? Lots of questions.
Well, because what's like clearly at that point in time, we didn't know. We didn't even suspect Jason of being the murderer. And so clearly they were like, well, I guess just let's get a construction worker and then like we'll throw people off the scent. But then it's like, well, was a construction worker just there? Was he getting his prescriptions? Like, was he doing work? I don't know what happened.
There's a lot going on.
I don't know
there.
what's happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I know that we did it.
We
We
did
did
it.
do
We
it.
got another one next week.
Sure do.
Yeah, we do have another. No, we haven't.
don't.
It's going to air next Thursday.
We're going to cover the
following
following
week,
week.
a
Of
couple
course.
weeks.
That's
Yes.
exactly right. That's
Yes.
exactly right. But we will be back tomorrow with the first Dune Bay movie.
Yeah, you will.
Big show.
Ryan's going to be
Big
joining us for
show.
that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, I love that poor Ryan. We cut Star Wars short.
love
and we said,
on
you
the
have to,
Danube.
You can have the Dune Bay movies. That'll be fun.
The Dunbies.
Until then, may the first wish you a
Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's The Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.